name is Savannah, a 20-year-old working at a Wal Mart near a small town called Madison in Georgia. Due to my part-time school schedule, I often found myself working the overnight shift when the store was open 24/7. Despite the store's size, there were only a few of us working these late hours, mostly restocking shelves and manning the registers. One night, around 11:30 p.m., a customer approached me in the men's department, asking about a specific pair of jeans. After informing him that we only had what was on display, he thanked me and walked away. However, I noticed him lingering in the store for an unusually long time without picking up any items. This struck me as odd, but I continued with my work. Around 1 a.m., the store was eerily quiet. I was restocking appliances when I noticed the same man watching me from the next aisle. His presence was unsettling, but I decided to switch to grocery work to avoid him. While restocking dairy products in the cooler, I heard the door burst open. Peering through a gap in the boxes, I saw the same man standing at the door. Fear gripped me, and I hid behind a large box of eggs. After what felt like an eternity, I assumed he had left and peeked out from my hiding spot. To my horror, he was standing right in front of the box, smiling. His smile vanished when I screamed, and he tried to silence me. I pushed the box of eggs at him, causing him to step back, and I ran past him to find another employee, Bob. The man followed me and claimed to be from corporate, conducting a surprise check. He apologized for scaring me and gave me instructions to finish up in the appliance section before disappearing. The next day, I called my manager, Mary, and asked about the supposed corporate visit. She confirmed my suspicions that the man was an imposter. A police report was filed after reviewing the security footage, which showed the man stalking me for hours. I informed Mary that I could no longer work night shifts, and she understood. I still work at the store, but now during the day, I either restock or at the cash register.
If there's one place where you're guaranteed to encounter an array of peculiar individuals, it's Wal Mart. I can attest to this from personal experience. It was the Thursday before Black Friday, and my local Wal Mart was open unusually late. I was there around 11 p.m. hunting for a new laptop. I managed to snag the last one on sale, a fantastic Black Friday deal. However, as I picked it up, a large, grubby-looking man approached me, insisting he needed the laptop urgently. Despite my nerves, I told him it was the last one, which seemed to infuriate him. He caused quite a scene, and I quickly retreated to the checkout line, his angry shouts echoing behind me. Other customers tried to lighten the mood, joking about the man's outburst. Once home, I decided to set up my new laptop outside by the pool. Suddenly, the motion sensor light on the side of the house flickered on. Feeling uneasy, I moved inside and continued setting up my laptop in the living room. Suddenly, my car alarm blared outside. I rushed to turn it off and noticed an unfamiliar car parked in front of our house. I alerted my mom, who was understandably worried. Peering through the front door's peephole, we were horrified to see the same man from Wal Mart standing on our porch. He tried to open the door, and when he couldn't, he began pounding on it. The noise alerted my younger sister, who joined us in our panic. The pounding eventually stopped, and there was a brief silence, broken only by my mom's voice on the phone with the police. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from downstairs in the den. A window had been shattered. My mom, sister, and I all screamed. I told them to run upstairs while I locked the door to the den. To my surprise, the police arrived quickly. They found the unkempt man hiding behind one of our couches. He was arrested immediately, all the while hurling profanities and threats at me. The police assured us he wouldn't be bothering us again, but the experience was a stark reminder that while people watching at Wal Mart can be amusing, it can also expose you to some of the more dangerous individuals in our society. As a college student burdened with loans, I took on a second job as a night stock person at Wal Mart. My shifts typically ran from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. or midnight to 7 a.m., and my responsibilities included signing for night deliveries, warehouse work, and restocking shelves after hours. On the night of July 9th, 2019, a Thursday, I was working in the electronics department when I noticed a figure dressed in black out of the corner of my eye. This was unusual, as there were only two other staff members, Lowell and Alvin, in the building with me, and we were all wearing our staff shirts. Curious, I peered around the aisle, but no one was there. I called out to Lowell and Alvin, but they didn't respond. I returned to my work, but was soon startled by a loud crash a few aisles down. A bicycle had been knocked off its hook, seemingly deliberately. As I rehung the bicycle, I heard a chilling laugh from the next aisle. I rushed over and saw a man dressed in black, his back to me, but his head turned so I could see half his face. He suddenly ran off, his footsteps echoing around the store. I found Lowell in the women's department and warned him about the intruder. I then excused myself to use the bathroom in the warehouse section. As I was in the stall, the bathroom door opened and closed. I called out but received no answer. Then I heard the same eerie laugh and saw a figure peering at me through the crack in the stall door. I quickly dialed Alvin's number and loudly told him to come to the bathroom immediately. The figure left the bathroom and Lowell arrived shortly after. We stuck together for the rest of the night, finding safety in numbers. I later texted my supervisor about the incident. It happened a couple of years back when my mom was working the night shift at Wal Mart. She'd been working there for years and she always came home around 3 a.m. But one night, she didn't. I remember waking up, looking at the clock and realizing she wasn't home yet. I tried calling her, but she didn't answer. I was worried, So I decided to go to Wal Mart and see if she was still there. I got there and the place was pretty much deserted. Just a few customers and a couple of employees. I asked one of them if they'd seen my mom, but they hadn't. I started to panic, thinking something had happened to her. I decided to check the back of the store where the freezers were. My mom worked in the frozen food section, so I thought maybe she was still there stocking shelves or something. But when I got there, it was empty. No sign of my mom. I was about to leave when I noticed one of the freezer doors was slightly ajar. I thought it was strange, so I went over to close it. But when I opened the door, I saw something that made my blood run cold. There in the freezer was a little boy. He was huddled in the corner, his body frozen stiff. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I called out to him, but he didn't respond. I reached out to touch him, and his skin was ice cold. I called the police, and they arrived within minutes. They took the boy out of the freezer and confirmed what I already knew. He was dead, frozen to death in a Wal Mart freezer. The investigation revealed that the boy had been locked in the freezer by accident. The door had malfunctioned, and he'd been trapped inside. My mom had been the last one to use the freezer, but she'd left early because she wasn't feeling well. She had no idea the boy was in there. The boy's family sued Wal Mart and they won. The store was forced to pay a huge settlement, and they had to make changes to ensure something like this never happened again. But it was too late for the boy. He was gone, and nothing could bring him back. It happened a couple of years back when I was working as a security guard at Wal Mart. I'd seen a lot of things in my time there, but this one takes the cake. It was a regular day, nothing out of the ordinary. I was watching the security cameras, keeping an eye out for any suspicious activity. That's when I noticed her, a cashier named Lisa. She was working the checkout line, scanning items for a customer, but something was off. I watched as she scanned an item, then put 2 in the bag. She did it again and again, not scanning all the items. The customer didn't seem to notice, or if she did, she didn't say anything. I realized what was happening. Lisa was stealing. She was helping her friend steal groceries. I called my supervisor, showed him what I was seeing. He told me to keep watching to gather more evidence, so I did. I watched as Lisa continued to scan only some of the items, slipping the rest into the bags. It was brazen, and it made my blood boil. After the customer left, I went to confront Lisa. I asked her about the missing scans, but she denied it, said it was a mistake, that she must have missed a few items. But I knew better. I had seen the whole thing on camera. I called the police, and they arrived within minutes. They reviewed the security footage, but there was a problem. The footage was blurry, the quality poor. Lisa's actions couldn't be seen clearly. It was frustrating, knowing what I had seen but not being able to prove it. The police questioned Lisa, but without clear evidence, they couldn't arrest her. She stuck to her story, claiming it was all a mistake, that she hadn't meant to miss scanning any items. Without proof, the police had no choice but to let her go. As for her friend, the one who had walked out of the store with the stolen groceries, she was nowhere to be found. We checked the store, the parking lot, but she was gone. It was like she had vanished into thin air. As an asset protection AP associate at Wal Mart, my primary responsibility is to prevent theft. We AP associates blend in with customers, dressed in everyday clothes. One Friday, a man caught my attention. He entered the store with his hands deep in his sweatshirt pockets, his face wearing a suspicious expression. His clothes were ragged and dirty, and his behavior was odd. He circled the electronics department several times before darting into the nearby restrooms. I decided to wait outside, not wanting to alert him to my suspicions. Almost immediately, I heard strange sounds from inside the restroom, angry growls and the repeated flushing of a toilet. I was about to investigate when the man bolted out of the restroom, looking terrified. He rushed past me towards the store entrance. I radioed management to be on the lookout and went into the restroom to investigate. Water was flooding from the last stall. I pushed the door open to find a toilet overflowing, a large object causing the blockage. On closer inspection, I was horrified to discover a severed human hand complete with exposed veins and bones jammed in the toilet. I fought back nausea as I radioed for assistance. A patrolling police officer was able to detain the man as he fled. We had to shut down the store for a couple of days for a full investigation. The man turned out to be homeless, claiming he had been paid $5,000 by a group of unknown men to dispose of the severed hand. He thought flushing it down a Wal Mart toilet was the best solution. The police are still trying to trace the origin of the money used to pay the man. As of now, the group of men remains at large, suspected to be involved in drugs or gang activities. Despite the many unusual incidents I've encountered in my role as an AP associate, nothing compares to the shock of that day.